So, ladies and gentlemen, we have just gone down a rabbit hole of weird. Let's get on with it, shall we? Oh yeah, plus to quality of life for the Warbank and the mobile Warbank, absolutely. Plus to double plus to quality of life for currencies, reps, and transmog unlocks. Oh yeah, and I want to share this again on camera now that we've been recording for the second time. I was looking at some of the stats because you know me, I love stats, I love specifics, and I love statistics. Early on in the review, I made the comment that WoW can't possibly score worse than FF14 on gameplay. It was nonsensical. A lot of people challenged that. Even Mr. Red challenged that. And after I threw a nerf bat at him, just the whole bat, and it just kind of bounced off of him. It's a nerf bat, it doesn't hurt. It's not one of the ones with the stick in the middle. It's just a nerf bat! I throw another one. I realized what I meant. Really, as weird as that sounds, because like I'm gonna keep flinging these until they stop hurting. Each one is progressively softer. Oh no, that's a thing, Dakoita? Oh jeez. Okay. Yeah, softer but bigger, exactly. Until like I'm just throwing like really floofy, soft pillows at you. You will be embraced by the softness. It's just this. I can't even get my arm around it. But it kept like in my brain, and with the advantage of having gotten all the way through Dragonflight, now I can see why. Because the only WoW expansion that has beaten FF14 on gameplay is Dragonflight. The one that actually has dungeons we can review. The one that doesn't have massive abandonment negatives anchoring it down, and the one that has really finally nailed quest design. And all of a sudden, all of it makes sense, because in my head, I'm not thinking about all of WoW beating FF14 on gameplay. I was thinking about the WoW I was playing just that night, which was Dragonflight, or War Within, depending on the period of time it was. And that makes a lot more sense, because they really have been nailing it in a lot of ways just in the last couple of years, you know? So I actually stand by that. FF14 kind of crushes it on the gameplay axis, at least from Stormblood onwards, because they lean very, very heavily on two big things: bosses and class design. And they're pretty good at both of those. The real question is, will WoW be able to, like, grasp its way forwards past FF14 being carried by two expansions? Oh yeah, another little anecdote, you might like this. I was also doing some number crunching just to double check a few things. So check this out, right? The entire... Hang on, where it is? There we go. The entire FF14 run is... Hang on. 602 hours long. That was pretty meaty. The entire WoW run, so far, is 709 hours. Now, a gap of 100 hours is kind of big. I'm not lying to you. I'm not going to lie to you. But it is interesting that FF14, that the percentage difference between the two is that small. Because... yeah, it kind of throws it into perspective, something I'd been saying all along, that each expansion, with the big exception of Kata, would take substantially less time than every FF14 expansion. Because FF14, that was a chonker. 90 hours, 130 hours, 160 hours. Dawn Trail was 70, and that was just launch content. By contrast, Dragonflight was 80, and that was everything. Food for thought. Let's go do some quests. So there's Tuberos again.
Oh, yes. Hello. Hello.
What do you mean, Mr. Ed? Or were you literally not listening to me 5 seconds ago? Join us on Dalaran, they said. It'll be great, they said. Good thing I could swim. Tubes almost drowned me trying to carry him back to safe land. He latched onto my back. Just dig through the water. Oh well, we lived. I feel bad for everyone who's stranded here now, but at least we can make the best of it.
Bye.
Our merchant friend told us of some small islands off the northeast coast called the Three Shields. Apparently there's a lot of Titan activity there long ago. To me, the activity sounded like Titan research, development, exciting stuff. Tuberos and I are going to check it out. Theresa, my new Algari expedition trainee, is coming along to see true professionals at work. Care to join us?
All right. See you later.
Hope those shiny artifacts are worth something. Really, Tubes? Not in front of the rest. I thought we talked about this. Listen, we're in it for the money. Talked about what? That is possible, Huthor. I know. I was thinking about that too, because FF7R2 would have done all its voice acting back in 2022, right? Like they've long since finished recording by the time that game came out. So it's possible he bowed out of it completely. I also noticed, and I should have said this out loud, I'm sorry, the most recent thing he did was actually a podcast, which kind of bypasses most of the usual rules.
If I don't have it, I'd love to learn to make it.
So it is entirely possible he either quit or bowed out or something.
Our forged paths intertwine.
Take a look around this beautiful town. What do you see? Ranchers and their moss wolves. But where is the rancher's flock? In the guts of a beast. Stormscar, they call him. Stormscar, whose howl is as the thunder, whose bite is lightning, whose belly is full of my life's work. I came here to buy weapons, and all we have is ranching equipment. You look strong. Would you put an end to his reign of our pastures?
Let's commit our meeting to memory.
Sure. You mean like the final golden number, Mr. Red? I guess platinum number for an MMO. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's going to be closer than y'all think, because I was crunching some numbers last night, and I'm just going to say this. Not counting War Within, FF14 is winning.
Good day to you. See you around.
We are no strangers to Ruby tax. The Kirin is well equipped to handle such a threat. Dalaran was equipped. I cannot fend off all of this town's foes, but you might be able to. I spotted an ambush near the road on the way here, an all too familiar tactic of an all too familiar foe. Go spring the trap and slay the monsters that lurk below.
Safe travels.
Exactly, Lord Harriman. War Within is going to drag it up, guaranteed.
later.
So the question is, who's going to end up winning that? I confess I came here with reason. There's one entity that cannot be allowed. A prisoner from the Violet Hold. Do you remember him? He was a boss back in the day. He's not the only prisoner of the Violet Hold in these isles.
Have a good one.
Tiny little tidbits of logic. Little threads of continuity there. That is, in fact, a botany that Dalaran had imprisoned. That is a very good question, Xavion. We know where one of them was. The other ones, Yeah, the Kirin were actually experimenting in Draenor during a quest that doesn't exist anymore. And yeah, stuff like that, right? I saw Mr. Red say something yesterday which actually made me laugh a little bit. No offense, Mr. Red. He said that WoW... oh god, how'd you phrase it? He said something along the lines that WoW constantly introduces cool things and then punishes you for being invested in them. Which is true in the past tense. And this continues to boil back to what I keep talking about Dragonflight and War Within. We really are past that at this point, and have continued to stay past that. Now, I don't know if Undermined continues the trend, but from everything I've heard, yeah, Undermined continues the trend. Hey, baby bear. This is why, as much as she bangs on about this a lot, I don't blame Bragwin for her attitude towards WoW. And it's one of the reasons why I don't blame Mr. Red for his attitude. And frankly, a lot of people's attitude. Because WoW has had a lot of good over the years. But really, it wasn't a great game until Dragonflight. That's weird to say that. It took until they finally actually started challenging everything and throwing a lot of crap out the window that they were like, you know what? Let's actually do this properly this time. Right. Yeah, it is telling that the highest expansion so far is almost a third the golden copper, bronze. The third of the bronze number of Dragonflight. I can tell. Look, careful, careful. No. Don't step on it. Don't! Stop.
Look, it only, I'm not stepping on it hard. Only
Don't step on it at all, please. Come on over here. I left a pad. So what are you working on, Inky Mark?
Well, I only colored this.
Mm-hmm.
So I made that little scribble. And I made that sideways V.
I like it.
And I just did those two peach spots because I was looking for the peach that I needed. I'm wearing 3 blows.
I see it. There's one that's purple, one that's blue, and one that's pink.
I know. That's pink. My shoes are all pink.
Why are you wearing so much pink?
I don't know. I just do stuff to show it pink.
I'm never gonna play this game.
Good.
See, the funny thing is, Huthor, I'm kind of in the opposite boat for the same reason. To me, I'm irritated by these damn seeds. Although, again, to continue the analogy, we have finally found seedless watermelon. And it's like, finally! That's sort of the attitude there. Finally!
What path brought you here?
Oh, hey. It's you again, Horde Runner. Shame I don't have any elementals for you to get in shape. But I do have another favor, if you're out for it. A friend of mine, Ulberig, lives out at the Three Shields. He studies the wild cloud rooks there, and he and I talk about them from time to time. But I haven't heard from him in a long time. Would you check on him for me?
Follow no directives but your own.
What doodads? There's no... Oh my god, there's doodads everywhere. I love that someone sat down and placed these carrots. Now, if you look at it, it's a double carrot model. But someone sat down and placed 19 individual copies of that carrot model in there just to make that trough. Yeah, that's doodads right there in a nutshell. Little play balls, some hay, big old football, soccer ball, and a trough, and water. Yeah, someone spent a morning placing and attaching carrots. Speaking of, there's some more.
Communication in... sorry.
I love how even the dwarven, ranching tools are very dwarven. And by dwarven, I mean earthen, but you know what I mean. Yep, the cotton isn't from the sheep. They grow cotton on the sheep. Let me say that again. They grow it on the sheep. Anti-elf, as it should be. That is a good question, Lenareth. And the truthful answer is I don't know. This big belt there. AI-generated stuff has peaked. It's actually peaked a while ago. It's been going downhill in more recent months. But at its peak, it gets pretty hard to notice when it's AI-generated. In some cases. In other cases, it's extremely obvious. There's certain things that AI-generated stuff just does not know how to do at all. I love the line of books. Scrolls, more books, more potions. Nice little spot for everyone to sit. There's someone left a cinder brew. And it's okay, they put the top on so that it would retain its heat. Big old bed. Well, I hate to repeat myself for the 70,000th time, but one of the things AI, procedural generation has been used for literal years now, is generating the basics, right? The terrain forming is something that's been done. For example, Blizzard itself has done that as far back as WoW Vanilla, I believe. And, you get the raw form, and then people come through and actually polish it up and turn it into something that looks correct. Oh yeah, they've definitely got the Dwarven descending into Earth house thing going on. Yeah, randomized height map. Okay. Actually forgot that was in Warcraft 3. Or didn't know that was in Warcraft 3. One of the two, but either way. Ah! Okay, hang on. Let me jot down vigilance real quick. One of these days, I'm going to play this game. Thank you, Vigilant, very much. As always. And that's going towards... Oh, you didn't put it there. So I guess I'll read chat then. Which was... Old World Blues. Oh, London. And Sid Meier's Pirates. And then Game Geek. Just did a trade there. Whoops. Oh no, it's very cozy, and I imagine I don't know thermodynamics that well, but just at a glance, this feels like a place that would retain heat. This specific bubble down here, and then it would take some work for it to get up here, so this would be colder, and then it would take a whole lot of work for it to bleed out here. In other words, the place where they hang out the most would be quite warm. And we know the Earthen specifically enjoy warmth. I mean, for God's sakes, right? So that's going towards Paper Mario Sticker Star, Axiom Verge, and Visions of Mana. Now, that fire is gigantic. Look at this thing. Okay. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, no. Okay, we're okay. We're okay.
You need something? Safe travels.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. So distracted, I forgot to point out that when I killed that botany, a nascent spore flied off into the wind. Are you sure you defeated all of it? Yeah. That'll never come back to bite us in the ass. Okay, real talk, I don't think that's actually like a plot hook in the strictest sense of the word. I think that's them allowing themselves to use botany in the future if they want to. Because remember, the botany are gone. Alternate Draenor's gone. None of the botany survived Outland. So that spore we just saw off in the wind is it. So if they ever want to use the botany again, they wanted to leave that little crack in the door. And that's probably what that is.
Speak freely. No directive needed.
It's actually a semi-common thing to do, to just leave that window open a little bit so you can bring something back if you feel like it. Like they do with Sylvanas, actually. Like, Sylvanas may never come back. Yeah, we'll go with that. Actually, yeah, the old God under Tears Fall is a perfect example of that. And they did eventually bring that back. I have a weapon buff now as a paladin? They did eventually bring that back in Legion, if you remember. It took from vanilla to Legion, but they did finally pay that particular hook off. I am fine with Sylvanas never coming back, but I trust the current team enough to do it properly if she does. I think that's my overall thought on that. What's the name of this place? Rambleshire. Rambleshire. That would actually be funny. I did it. I got every soul out of the maw. There's only one soul left now.
More Titan artifacts. Will you have a go at bringing me some samples? I'd love to go with you, but I'm a little busy here.
Yeah, if she comes back, they need to do something with it. Don't just bring Sylvanas back. Make it relevant. Frankly, Tyrande. What they did with Tyrande in Dragonflight was good. I know they didn't bring her back in the strictest sense of the word, but she'd been kind of irrelevant to the story for years. And yeah, having Tyrande come back... having Tyrande come back and being relevant to the story of Amirdrasil and the Dream and the overall themes of Dragonflight, yeah, that tied up like 3 different ways. And Tyrande has effectively left the narrative now. She's retired. So, yeah, I think they could pull it. Oh, I've been wounded. Are Gorlok claws venomous? Medic! Medic! You tripped and hit your head. The Gorlok didn't even touch you. Yeah, Theresa and I took out the Gorlok. Well, I distracted it. Shush, you're making me look bad in front of a Horde runner. Don't worry, you don't need help with that.
No. Oh, hey, boss.
This island's dangerous, but I can smell the shinies. Boss calls them Titan artifacts, but they fetch a high price. I still call them shinies. Not only the smell. Ugh, not the only smell around here. It stinks of those Gorloks. They smell wet, human, and a bit like dead fish, but boss says we're gonna find shinies, Titan artifacts. So we gotta do what we gotta do.
Ooh, happy scent trails.
On the way here, Tuberos told me about his adventures with Renan. Some of it sounds made up. He said Renan is famous gadgeteer, but he lost all his gadgets in the crash. Yeah, okay, likely story. Renan sensed I thought Tuberos was lying. He started telling me about how he used to be a mage in training. He claimed the headmaster let him go because he was too good. Right. Who assigned me to this guy? And question, why is the Nif in here?
We will have justice.
Oh, didn't see you standing there.
Alright, I'm fine. It's just a scratch, but it took the 3 of us to bring down one Gorlok. So it's good that you decided to join us.
But I have so much science to tell you about.
Oh, you need a guide?
As you know, we're here to collect whatever Titan shinies, artifacts, whatever. Ronan thinks the more shinies, you know what I mean, the better chance we have of figuring out something about the Titans. That'll make him happy, but also ensure I have some extras to take to the store back home. My wife, Persimona, is waiting for him back in Loam. I can't go back empty-handed.
Be safe now.
I know I'm new to this expeditioning, but there's probably a reason this place was abandoned, right? Don't worry. If there was something fishy around here, I'd smell it. Yeah, we know what we're doing. Tubes and I are professionals.
Fine day for some tinkering.
Just so you know, my expedition this time is officially sanctioned. I got my own expedition. Can you believe it? I guess my rogue spelunking in Zarlek Caverns was a risk worth taking. I got promoted, I met the new dragon aspect. Okay, crashing was a setback, and yes, all my gadgets are at the bottom of the ocean, and the Gorloks are going to find them. But think of how many discoveries in this Titan test site playground are just waiting to be taken up by professionals, such like us.
All right.
Theresa and I have done some reconnaissance and found the Gorloks are digging up artifacts and cuddling with them. I think it means they emit heat. Maybe that means some artifacts are still functioning. Imagine the Titans created technology to shape worlds and fish use it to warm their fins. Ah! The Gorloks won't give them up, and I don't want to be a Renan kebab either, so I hate to ask because they just want to be warm, but could you do something about them? I will go make them warm for the rest of their lives. Oh, and yes, Captain Zeus, sorry. I meant to answer you earlier. Yes. Although, that's never paid off that I'm aware of. They've never done anything with that either. I had to really think about that, but I'm pretty sure it's never paid off. Because even the dude who was in the Dalaran thing, that predates that incident. Right, buttons, buttons. I have to hit buttons. Did you know that playing this game involves hitting buttons? I need a better weapon. This 327 thing is just way out of date. It's literally faster to gather as many together as possible because I'm killing them at basically the same rate. No, no butts. No butts. One of those streamers. Ugh. Oh, I hate those mods here. Why even play the game at that point? God. I know. Tolerant understanding. Fine. Go have your weird not playing the game mode. I can't say anything. There's some games I only enjoy the story in, so I like to cheat the gameplay out of it. It's not that hard to assume that you would do that in the best gameplay game of all time. Anyways. I am still in favor of that as an option. Weirdly enough. Proper easy mode is proper easy mode, and should exist. Especially in Dark Souls, as we all know. I mean, would it even be Dark Souls if there wasn't an option for the player to just, like, walk up and be like, boop, and instantly kill every boss in the game? It's like Oko mode, but the other way. Actually, Blizzard's usually pretty good about their difficulty options. Luthor mentioned earlier that it's kind of binary. But at the same time, I don't know if I fully agree with that. I suppose that might be true in WoW. I haven't really done Mythic past 8, I want to say. In War Within, something like that. And I haven't done a delve past 11? 10 or 11, one of the two. My point being, it felt like a gradient up as we were going. I can definitely say that about 2 other games. Diablo 3 and StarCraft 2. And those are recent Blizzard games, right? Like, those just came out a couple years ago. Right? But that's modern, WoW style contemporaries. Right? I will say when I was raiding, it's true, it's a glider. When I was raiding back in Dragonflight, StarCraft 2 just came out a couple months ago. There was like LFR Dragonflight, which was pretty easy. And then there was Normal, which was pretty easy. And then there's Heroic, which was an instantaneous wall of doom. And then there was Mythic, where we never even got past the first boss. And it was just like, yeah. Yep.
Thank you for the samples, champion. This will greatly advance our knowledge of the Titans and their technology.
You're welcome, Dagon. I do get what you mean. I do overall get your point. I even overall agree with you. Because, I mean, speaking as someone who's done Mythic Pluses in Shadowlands, and then the, you know, just the Titan, not Titan, the time-walking Shadowlands dungeons in a group, The difference between those two is colossal. Like, it's silly, really. How could you possibly make classic Shadowlands worth a damn? Remember, the whole point of classic is minimal changes. So it's just Shadowlands again. Remember all those horrible, horrible systems that Shadowlands didn't get negatives for because they don't exist anymore? Yeah. Yeah. You think Shadowlands is bad now? No. It was actually worse when it was recent. Damn it, Frieza. Okay. Let's see, that's Frieza going towards Tokyo Extreme, DBZ Kakarot, and Naruto. Jot that down. Everybody wants me to play this game. That's what this is. Everyone's sick of WoW, so they want me to play WoW forever. Paradoxically. Tokyo Extreme Racer. DBZ Kakarot. Oh god, the Renown grind. Naruto Ultimate Ninja. Dorn Legacy. Okay. This is my punishment. My curse. I can't believe this. I was actually thinking to myself, I wonder how much of the second zone will get done today. We're not even going to beat the Isle of Dorn today. This is insane. We might beat the Isle of Dorn today. Maybe. Honestly, Legion, BFA, and Shadowlands all had really bad grind at launch. All three expansions also took efforts to remove that grind in the patch content. But at launch, all three expansions, that was some face mulching.
Oh, nice smelling you. Oh, smell you again soon. Be safe now.
This one smells very acidic. It's broken. I can take it to the store. Ronan would like to see that one. Oh, yeah, these are great. Thanks for bringing these to me.
Ooh, happy scent trails.
Ah, wonderful. Now we can focus our attention to what really matters. The artifacts. I wonder what we'll discover.
Bye.
Teresa?
We will persevere.
I think I'm getting the hang of this. Delegate the hard stuff to someone else, take the artifacts catalog, and then profit.
The reckoning is at hand.
While these two are ordering you around, I thought I would do something useful and make sure the Gorloks were not going to surprise us on the beach. None of them seem interested in us, but then I saw one huge Gorlok. It killed off some smaller Gorlok, then took off. Something glowing in its claw. Has to be an artifact. It looked like it was working. We've got to get it back. And by we, I mean you. Larger than average Gorloks are way above my dragon scale pay grade.
Salama Ashalinore.
Yes, one of the issues, and for the record, for those of you wondering, I did ding Dragonflight for this, was that a decent chunk of story was locked behind Renown. That is turbo friggity gone in War Within. Which is good, because, Come on. Oh, for God's sake, maybe I can't do it in combat. Hang on. Die. Hang on. This is taking a while. Look, my weapon is 327 gear, okay? I literally have a Dragonfly weapon on. Don't look at me like that. One of these days, I'll get a new weapon from a quest. It'll be fine. Okay, as I was saying. There's my renowns. As you can see, I'm friggity nowhere. However, I can actually point something out. If you're curious how much renown you'll get for essentially just doing the MSQ, this is it. Because this is pretty much what I did in launch content. I would say next to zero. Everyone knew he was on his way out for a long time. If you remember, I was covering the purchase and acquisition of Blizzard for the better part of a year. A little over a year. I even predicted how long it would take, and I was close within a month or two, so I'll flex on that. But the point I'm trying to reach is that I almost guarantee you that people kind of stopped listening to him at a certain point. Even though he was still technically the boss, it's like, yeah, you're on your way out, buddy. Now, I'll tell you the last thing he had his fingertips in. Overwatch 2.
Our enemies will fall.
Think about it.
Remember the
I
Sunwell.
can hear it humming from here. It irritates my ears. Let's see if our two professionals know what this artifact is.
Be ready for anything.
Now, that's a shiny. Oh, wow, I think this one still works. Okay, but what's it do?
Oh, didn't see you standing there.
Teresa's doing a great job so far. I guess I'm not so bad at this mentoring thing. I just keep thinking, what would Lathos have done? And then I'm sad. But my inner Lathos has never steered me wrong.
All right, see you later.
We found a buzz orb. That's what the Niffin call it. I just went with it. Still in good condition. Still buzzing, still humming, still warm to the touch. I haven't seen one since we were in Zarlek Cabin. You should see if we can get it to work. I'll stand here, just in case it's not friendly. Nothing to worry about, I'm sure.
But I have so much science to tell you about.
Okay, so, Evo. There are 3 buttons on this orb. The middle and right one suggest they have been used more than the left one. Do we hit left, middle, or right? Hit the left button. Okay, now I can press right and then middle, or middle then right. Middle then right. Okay, middle then right. Okay, so I was wrong. So right then middle. Nope, still wrong. Okay, so middle. And then I'm just going to brute force this now. We did it! It's alive! It's alive! I'm a rich Niffin! Guys. Scanning life forms. What's it doing? Danger. Unidentified life form. Scanning for active defense grid. Alpha site uplink acquired. Repositioning. Active defense grid? What does that mean?
Fine day for some tinkering, don't you
Alpha
think?
site defense grid. I don't like the sound of that. We should get going. I don't want to be here if its friends come back with it. It's not the reunion party I want to be part of. Hopefully it won't hone in on Theresa. Nah, probably not. We should get going. Now, talk to you later. Thanks for your help, I guess.
Bye.
Hey, I'm risking my life adventuring with you too. I want to share of Tuberos's profits. Smart lady, I'll give you 20%. Now, come on, I smell more shinies this away. Cause elemental storms at target. Ah! What? Oh, no, we're not pirates. We're researchers. Wait, I thought you couldn't swim. Diffin can swim like fish. It's just like digging. Iron Rain. Oh. So you know what it is, Uthor? And I mean this. War Within feels like FF14 in terms of how it approaches its world building, its story, its continuity. I know you hate that word, but it's true. One of the things WoW has always been kind of bad about, like it or not, is just kind of forgetting what happened yesterday, right? Legion, one of the reasons Legion was so unique was specifically because of the fact that Legion was suddenly calling attention to things that everyone just sort of thought they forgot about, right? There are threads of continuity throughout the story. You can tell how certain pieces are carried forward, but it was always been this weird kind of backgroundy way that wasn't designed to draw your attention to it. Talking to Ranon, who specifically calls out how he feels sad because he's thinking of his friend who died saving his life back in Dragonflight, that's continuity right there. It doesn't have to be front and center. It doesn't have to be shoved in your face. The whole story doesn't have to hinge around it. It's just the past exists and still matters. Did you catch that Ranon specifically was thinking about him because he was trying to use his example for how to lead other people? Because he was taught how to lead by the man who led him. Right? That's how War Within approaches its continuity, and I love it, to be frank. In fact, I'm going to come up with a new category of positives. Yeah, let's go back to Shadowlands. Ugh, screw this place. Disgusting, vile place. Where's real WoW? This is one of the other reasons why I try so hard to not come down too hard on FF14. Because you know what FF14 really is? Mr. Red's gonna hate me for this. FF14 is a better Lotro. Think about it. Think about it. Yeah, I just recognize what that quest is. Let's skip over that. We're just gonna skip over that. Like, the jank, the interface, the spaghetti code, the struggling with old systems that were designed years ago for a completely different console on a completely different SKU. Yeah, speaking of which. But FF14 does have good gameplay, more or less in spite of all its issues, and it treats its story with a degree of respect and consideration, pretty much constantly.
I am glad you're back, Adelgon. The Council is needed here in Dornagol more than ever.
It is time we stand as one, and strike back against the Nerubians.
That Taran's name is Moopai.
Are you here to chat or work?
Yeah, I noticed that too, Huthor. So, the approach we were using... I sure hope this is retail. The approach we were using back in Dragonflight was sides, then main, sides, then main. I think we might flip that. Because, as you say, so much of the sides follow through on the main in War Within. Maybe they just knew that players do that anyways. It's the opposite of the Oblivion approach. The Earthen Council's reunited. Hopefully they can put a past aside and get the Corway repaired. Then, hopefully, they'll help us with the Nerubians. Zolototh. Oh my god, that is an item level upgrade of 190.
We will survive.
Yeah, my gear's a little out of date. Oh, absolutely, Yavuz. Allow me to give you the advice I've given several times over the last few weeks. If you start a new character on Dragonflight, it'll want you to go to the Exiles... sorry, I don't know why I said Dragonflight. In Retail. If you start a new character in Retail, it'll want you to go to Exiles Reach. That's fine. It's a very tutorial, but once you finish that, it'll dump you pretty much immediately into Dragonflight, which is the second and most recent expansion. That will tell you all you need to know about the story thus far, and it serves as a good new player starting point. That will lead immediately into War Within, which will then follow through on that. And that is my new official recommendation for playing WoW, as it happens. So which one is it right now? The Rivals. Nah.
Very good to meet you.
The Unbound have arrived with the equipment and resources needed to begin repairing the Corway. This is a momentous occasion, one for the Archive. I would not say this to Adelgon, but I see the Titan's hands in it. And now it's time for me to exercise my directive. I have devised a plan on how to organize our workers most efficiently, and also have allocated supplies to welcome them. Take these orders to Adelgon's workers so they may begin in earnest. We'll meet you there shortly.
We must... Adelgon and I will oversee the repairs. This will be no small task.
We are the Titan's bedrock and foundation.
Do you have a query?
I'm gonna get a couple of vectors here, don't mind me. I've said it before. I legitimately hope that at some point FF14 pulls the same general trick that WoW did with Dragonflight. I actually think Dawntrail is not a bad starting point for a brand new player who doesn't want to go through everything. I know not everyone agrees with me on that, but, well, frankly, it's as good as they have so far.
You'll find me
Braun?
wherever the action is.
Braun, what's that on your head?
Keep your eyes on the horizon.
I'll go ahead and pack the supplies. See you down below.
Travel safe. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Keep your eyes on the horizon.
Okay. Okay. Moving on. Yeah, nice hat, Braun. Yes. Let's get these people geared up. Are these numbers right? I guess if the circuitry is that delicate. Is it too late to get my good hammer? Well... You can't go heartless. Yeah, dwarf goes heartless. I'm really happy it dropped, Lita Fairy. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a little pricked that I didn't get the Hearthstone. Not just because I want it, but because, like, every time I've rolled well on that Hearthstone, someone else has gotten it. But the Hearthstone will be there later. This sucker. Oof. I'll take this.
These repairs will be wasted if we're attacked again. We need to bolster our defenses.
Agreed.
Conversation initiated.
Even with this many workers, the Corway's repairs will take time. We need to decide what to do in the meantime.
Must go. Apologies.
Well, yeah, not only that. Oh, we have a dungeon. We have a dungeon. I know the Corway, the Unbound, can repair and unblock the Corway expediently, but I also know the Nerubians. If they see an opportunity for an ambush, they will take it. With our backs turned and our focus on the Corway, we are prime targets. I need to rally my Storm Riders and form a perimeter around Dornagal, in case of an attack from within or without. Meet me at the Storm Perch. I will call in my troops there.
Fly high. Meet me outside the Storm Perch. We will rally the Storm Riders and protect the Unbound.
Damn right we will. But first, let me become a healer really quick. Okay. Okay. And... What was I going for over here? Okay. So, Herald of the Sun. That could be Huthor. Because, yeah, this is very much a... Here's how this works. Hey, Holy Armaments! So what does this need? What do I not have? Holy Prism or Barrier of Faith. Neither of which I have. Where's Holy Prism? There it is. See, I remember when Holy Prism first came out and it sucked. Is it better now? Real question. It was so bad that it was like the never take for that particular row. Well, okay. So if I'm getting Holy Prism... Yeah, I'm going to do this one solo for the same reason I was doing the other one solo. Okay, what did I just... Okay, let's reset. That. That. And let's just get Prism with our last bit. And then, Herald of the Sun. Okay, so Prism causes your next spenders to apply Dawnlight, doing damage or healing over time. 8% of damage and healing radiates. Okay. I'm with it. What else we got here? Every 5 seconds, your next Dawnlight's damage or healing is increased by 5%. Stacks twice as fast while out of combat. Or... While it's active, your holy spenders do additional damage or healing. Eternal Flame replaces Word of Glory. It adds the hot component. Okay. What the heck is a wine gum? Do I have Holy Shock on the thing? Yeah, I do. It's right there. Is it actually alcoholic? I think I get the Blessings of... So let's turn that into a hot. Let's get the Blessings of Anshi. Let's grab Morning Star. Interesting. Oh my god. Every time I cast Holy Purpose, Holy Prism, I gain Holy Purpose. Divine Purpose, god damn it. Which makes my next spender free. And to get boosted. Jesus, yes, please. So there's Prism. I gotta figure out where to put Prism. Where do I put Prism? I guess I could put it there and get rid of my DPS ability. It's a weird thought, but I could. Yes and no. Relictum. It depends. It's very case by case. If my niece stumbles and falls because she was goofing around when she was told not to, well, I'm not going to punish her for that, but, you know, at the same time, it's like, I need her to understand that the reason this happened is because she was goofing around. It was preventable. The goal is to try and educate on how to prevent it from happening the next time. Let's go ahead and make a macro for this. So I guess that isn't punishing at all. So I suppose that's my answer to you. Oh, here we go. I got the Covenant spot. Hey, Loke. Any idea on an ETA in your comp? So, let's put it... Let's get rid of that. No. Get rid of that. Screw it. Let's put it up here. It feels like a good spot for it. God, I still have Shadowlands gear on. Okay. It's okay. Everything's fine. Don't worry, guys. I know I have a gear that's 2 expansions out of date.
We will fly to the Rookery together. The edicts are my guide.
Yeah, literally. Q for Follower Dungeon. Yeah, this is as tutorially as it gets for Follower Dungeons.
May the Titans carve your path.
I am a healer. So, Rookery. Hey, this is odd. Different followers. The Mead Worker, the Freysworn, the Huntsman, and of course, Baelgrim. Interesting.
Before us stands the Storm Perch, Outlander. It is the command center and rookery for all Storm Riders. This is highly irregular. Why are these Storm Rooks tethered here?
Thank the Titans you are here. The Storm Perch has been breached, and the Storm Riders corrupted. Hurry! If we free these Storm Rooks, we can fly there and try to end this madness.
Outlander, with me.
That's a good question. What role does Baelgrim take? 8. Now that is a nice new telegraph. I like these new telegraphs.
Koratite! What are you doing? Stop this!
Well, good news. This is quite literally the best time to start WoW fresh. Arguably ever.
What is that orb? It's radiating dark energy, and it's affecting the Storm Rooks.
What dark magic is this?
Okay, I need my healing weapon.
How dare they defile their own Storm Rooks?
Impossible, Giga. Half a year ban, jeez. No, that sounds like a bit much to me, Verlictum, but... You know me, I'm not very vengeful to begin with. A lot of people seem to think that correction means punishment. I've studied too much history and psychology to agree with that. So we're gonna, like, turbo
What
pull.
have you done?
See what happens.
The title, the glory, it should have been mine, Baelgrim. You never deserved to be Stormward!
I left Gorin, my second, in charge of the Storm Perch when I left to investigate your Dalaran's crash. What has that traitor allowed to happen in my absence?
Yeah, it is almost assuredly my gear being crap, but that was fun. I actually liked having to pay attention. You notice I just went quiet there, because that was a few seconds away from falling over several times. And I haven't played Holy Paladin in a while, so I had to remember a lot of things very suddenly. I probably made several mistakes there, too. I did actually notice that, Uthor. Very true to life. Ah, neck. That would be cool. FF14 has something that, in practical application, is like that. Max eye level, I think is what that's called. Because, in FF14, obviously, I've talked up the roulette system a lot. But the roulette system kind of puts you at, like, the maximum of what you could have been back in the day. There's another option you get out on top of that, which puts you at the minimum of what you could have been back in the day. And the gap there is bigger than you'd think. And yeah, you ever want to fight hard stuff in FF14, you do a synced min eye level run, and that's going to beat your teeth in. Kennex Cow, we need to get you better internet. Yeah, honestly, again, this is part of how I think a roulette-style system could work in WoW, is if we do something that allows for exactly that. Ugh. Let me move this down. Yeah, let's try that for a bit. So, that was fun. I do like the trash in here. I do. Okay, so that actually does like that. And that's... okay. I'd really like those new telegraphs. Unfortunately, the boss is just going to be run over. Well, we did all the other dungeons solo because it was a better way to gauge the actual quality of the dungeon. We tried a couple of dungeons in Dragonflight with a group and ran over them so quickly that I couldn't give them any positives.
Rest well, Kyrios. You deserved a better rider than Goran.
Now,
I will deactivate Goran myself for this sacrilege.
Yeah, by the way, did you catch that? What the... That's new. Isn't it? No, it's not. I'm high. Never mind, I'm high. Circle. So I don't remember the benefit of hitting all these orbs on the way down. Does anyone remember the benefit? Oh, I can't do it because I'm not a demon hunter. Be free. Be free? Be free.
Finally, I thought I'd have to fight Goran on my own.
Correct, Lunaroth. And we don't cover heroics or mythics anyways.
We will press forward and rescue who we can.
Although, that's an interesting point. I hadn't thought about that. Maybe it's an achievement or something, I don't know. Anyways, here we have Void Earthen. There's your nightmare for the day. I was just thinking that, Huthor, because, like, uniquely, because we're at caught up territory, the possibility of actually covering something that is caught up.
The edict has been changed by
exists.
some dark influence.
Because that didn't exist previous to now. I'd probably do a Mythic 0, not a Mythic Plus. But it's still something we could put on the table. We'll think about it. There are some optional dungeons we could hit, like the Cinderbrew Midri. How do you even infect the Earthen with Void? Pretty much the same way you can infect anything with the Void. See, first you get some Void, and then they go... and then you're done. Yeah, we'll see. I was hoping at least, so since we did the we did the one story delve. We could hit other delves with a group if anybody wanted to. It'll have to be pretty low level, but we could do it. Remember, I can't do above 3, so that's more on you or for wanting to waste your time at that point. I'm gonna get the hunter. Die, hunter.
Go, find Volkmar. He will take you to safety.
Look, we're only halfway to 80 in the first zone, okay? Listen, Ivanova whispers into my eye every day. I don't know what the issue is here. No bad, Huthor. Especially since we're not done with the Isle of Dorn yet. And we're about halfway to 76. Yeah, remember, even Ra gave in to doubt. Which is funny, because you'd think you would have done that in Pandaria, but no, that wasn't doubt, that was despair. And believe it or not, those are different things. Especially in Warcraft. Yeah, we're in a weird situation, because for the first time we're at current content. So similar to, say, Dawn Trail, we could actually have people join us and things. It has been a while since we've... I don't know why I'm saying that way. We haven't been thought up.
I will stand proud on the debris of your corpse.
Oh, I should be reading those out. Sorry, so I was curious.
The Void Riders follow me now.
Stormguard Goran Stormrook, though corrupted by void magic, was still loyally fighting by his side. If anything gets in his way, Kyrios will dutifully tear them apart. This is Stormguard Goran. Once Stormward Baelgrim's second, Stormguard Goran has been corrupted by void, causing his hate for Baelgrim to fester. Using his newfound void power, he seeks to overrun the Storm Perch and command his own army of Void Riders. Which admittedly sounds cool. No, I've actually tried that, Linerith, and I will not be able to join you. So you can go do it without me. But you can do that without me anyways.
Feel my blessing. The might of my hammer!
Yeah, Illyria, can we have Void Riders? Oh my god. Just please, please.
I deserve this power.
Yeah, I'll take that nearly 200. That is 198 item level higher. Jeez. Yeah, I love... Okay. I'm going to give a story positive for this. This guy gave into the void for the most pathetic and simple of reasons. But it's weirdly relatable and extremely in character for an Earthen. Earthen tend to have very simplistic 1- or 2-note personalities for the most part. Anyways, that makes sense if we're being honest with ourselves, because of the nature of how they are and how slowly they develop droid effect. So him giving into the void just over the fact that he was supposed to be in charge instead of the other guy, that's it. Yeah, exactly. That's his edict, is being a Storm Rider. I should be the top Storm Rider. I am not the top Storm Rider. I should be the top Storm Rider. Tentacles. It makes so much sense. If I'm being honest, I have a feeling that if we hadn't shown up, Dornagal would have fallen to void inside of a week. Like, they're already on the front door, right here.
The same dark magic that was emanating from the Storm Riders is more powerful here.
I do not like that it feels darker and colder as we go down. But there are more survivors to rescue. The lift is out. If we want to keep going, we will have to go down the Storm Rider way. Follow me.
Oh my god, they just pinged the pit to tell me to jump into it. They actually pinged it. By the way, did you catch that? That was a bit of good game design there. I actually did that on purpose to show that off. There's actually an invisible barrier right about there-ish, right above that platform. Why? Because somewhere in testing, someone tried to jump down this hole, collided with that thing, and then died. And they were like, hold up. And so they added a slanted invisible barrier there to allow it so that someone would... Because you saw it kind of got shoved over to the side a little bit, and they'll land in the water no matter what. Little details like that. After all, we need this to be here. This is how we get out of the water.
What is that? What did Gorin bring here? We have to take it down.
So let's go and do a bit of an overpull again. That should be enough for now. Maybe, I don't know, a lot of those are trash. Fine, Belgrim, keep tanking. I should have pulled more. Oh well. That's a good question, Lunarith. Truthfully, I don't actually have an answer for you. It wouldn't surprise me that mere proximity caused the issue, because we know there's a lot of void stuff happening nearby. And Xalatath hasn't shown any specific interest in corrupting this area, because she's got other things going on. Unlike the third zone, where she's very active, she doesn't seem to pay a lot of attention to the first zone. Then again, the second zone has its own issues, right? So, I don't know. I don't know.
Take out the creatures channeling on that core.
You got it. Pull everything. As the healer. Just like old times. Pop invul on the way back. Just like old times. Whoa, 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 whoa. What the hell murdered him in a hurry? Wow! We actually wiped. I'm weirdly happy about that. That could be Akira White Noise. Thank you for doing. Yeah, healer? Healer! What? Ah! And I'm kicked out of the group. The followers kicked me. That would actually be quite funny. Yeah, could you imagine if followers could just kick you from the group? Would sort of defeat the point, wouldn't it? But just like, alright, look, you're clearly having issues here. That should be an April Fool's Day thing. Here, I'm gonna watch. Do you see that? Do you see that little nudge right there? I just wanted to show it off more clearly. That is just... There's better ways to accomplish that, but the fact that they bothered with that is such a wonderful bit of attention to detail. Sorry, I hate to keep gushing about good game design. I apologize. I'll go back to being dumb. This game sucks. RuneScape Classic is the better game. In every way. I was always Eeyore. Waha, ha ha ha.
Was this it, or what is that? What did Gorin bring here? Join us.
Here's our boss, a void thing. It's literally called Void Stone Monstrosity. It is effectively a void earthen elemental. A grotesque amalgamation of corrupted storm riders, this towering mass of void power knows only pain and how to inflict it. Taking it down is the only way to cleanse the storm perch and the rookery. Yeah, an actual void abomination in the Warcraft sense of the word. And yeah, now we've had void plus earth in addition to void plus fire. Huh.
Let us return to the council. I must report to them.
Can we get rid of that thing? Yeah, no, usually when I'm actually doing the Archives quest, I do it in follower dungeons. That's a good question, Cashel. I don't know, though. I guess we'll get there at some point. By the way, even despite taking my time and wiping twice, that was only 22 minutes.
I've tracked the Nerubians to a burrow near the meadery. They must be after the Cinder Brew.
And without the Storm Riders,
Oh god, Uthor, don't tell me that. I'm already scared about how I'm going to review the 4th zone.
I serve the Titans unswervingly.
The entire rookery. I see. At least the source is destroyed. I lament the loss of so many Storm Riders, but the corruption had spread to Dornagal.
Conversation terminated.
With my Storm Riders inactive, Dornagal is undefended, save a handful of lay peacekeepers. If the Nerubians attack us here again, Dornagal will fall, and all of us with it. It is imperative we draw them away from the city and take out their commander. We can and will make our own web and capture Xerix. Hey! There they are again. Just keep dealing with it. Yeah, how do... Oh, here's Undermine. Ah! Brain explodes.
may the edicts guide you.
Skip conversation.
Be vigilant. They want the Cinder Brew? I propose we let them have it, and then ignite it.
Now hold on! That will reduce my meadery to rubble!
I will see to its repair, Wenbrand. You have my word.
Fine. But if my stock is involved, then so am I.
Excellent. Then we are aligned.
What is your query?
The Meadery is a really good dungeon.
I have work.
That's all I'll say about
On
that.
your
for now.
signal, I'll lure the Nerubians to the meadery.
And we will prepare a welcome for our guests.
My directive is to kill my enemies, no matter where they are. Sorry. Even if they're named Huthel. I'm telling you, they just really like heat. Okay, I don't know what you want from me. Did that. That's over there. That's there. Hang on. I think this is just a vector quest. Let me double check really quick.
Work cycle interrupted.
Yep.
The coreway must be
Yeah. Oh no, that's the unlock quest. Okay. That should make this a needless vector as well. I say needless. It's a vector for a quest chain I already did. A vector quest is exactly what it sounds like. It is a quest to take you from point A to point B and nothing else. There's no activity. Ah, here we go. This actually is a new quest. There's no activity, there's no events, there's no story, there's no anything. It is a vector quest. Go here. Vector quests are very, very, very old game design. They even exist in single player. I can't do evening, I could do night. They even exist in single-player games. Hey, I heard a rumor that over in the town of such and such, there's some issues. Boing. Yeah, Stormwind's looking fine. Can you check in my friend in Westfall? Sure thing. Boing.
Have need of a storm rook?
Although,
Returning to task.
I'm actually curious. Yeah, that's pretty.
Every storm rook has its own personality.
Otwin sent you. Probably misses my help brushing out the rooks. But there's something amiss in Rambleshire. There should be a storm overhead. Been visible from Dornagal as long as I can remember. Without that storm, I fear the local Mosswool operation is in trouble.
Winds and wings.
Thunderhead Peak normally boasts a perpetual storm, from which the local moss wolves draw energy. Without it, the poor deers look to be listless and near dead on their feet, which makes them easy pickings for predators. To get the mosswool production back on track, we need to get to the bottom of the missing storm. But first we need to beat the predators.
Titans be your guide.
Now let's go get the mossworn here. The energized moss that these flocks produce, that is very pretty. Is a favorite treat for the storm rooks. But with the storm gone, the rams are lethargic, vulnerable, and no longer producing. We may not be able to conjure a storm, but we could offer the moss wolves and the mossworn a motivating zap. So you can find a lodestone that'll hold a charge.
Back to the storm rooks.
I'm gonna read it as mossworn for the rest of the quest. See how it feels. Shabendra, if you could light this up, please. Thank you. How did they manage a Dwarven Shire mix of music? Sorry for getting analytical, but have you heard that? Heavy emphasis on deep horns and a tune which is emphasized by a repeating recurrence of long notes. That's very Dwarven music. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. Right? That's Dwarven music. That's been common, especially in Warcraft, for an extremely long time. And yet here, it's overlaid by, like... You hear that? Like little cloth, almost like hoof beats. And that banjo. These things really hurt. Okay, let's be a real spec for a second. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we might actually be giving a music positive. So, wow! I know, it's shocking. For the record, we haven't done that very many times. No joke. I don't think so, real Merc. Not off the top of my head. Tank. Laura, you're playing tank right now. No, Verdictum, I have never seen a movie where the sudden appearance of actor in combination with a... I mean, it could be Linerith. Part of the thing... part of the thing is... and we've actually talked about this before. FF14 tends to have more... single-player music, for lack of a better way to put that. It has very Final Fantasy music. Very distinct, very listenable. It's the kind of stuff you'll just put on by itself and listen to it. WoW tends to have very atmospheric music. It's music that sets the scene. If you hear Storm Peaks, or Warsong, or Nagrand, or the Dragon Isles overall theme, or whatever, you picture that zone, right? You can see where it is because the music helps set the scene. It is actually kind of rare that we give gameplay positives to music for WoW, because most of the time it isn't on the gameplay axis, it's on the story. I noticed that too, Huthorn. I doubled down on the music direction positives because of it. I should note that in my notes. I don't think I actually said that in the notes. And yeah, Loke is correct. There's a strings undercurrent for the second motif here. Brilliant stuff. Yeah, if you ever want to see me just unabashedly gush about WoW, watch me stream War Within. And get constantly interrupted. I would never gush during Dragonflight. Dragonflight by itself is only the best MMO I've ever reviewed. You tell me the storm's gone on account of a missing ram? Not just any ram.
Conversation initiated.
That should buy the ranchers and their flocks sometime while we figure out what's going on with the missing storm. No storm means no moss, which means grumpy stormrooks. According to the locals, the storm is born of 2 legendary rams butting their heads on top of Thunder Peak. They believe one of them went missing, if you can believe that.
Fly high, strike true.
The lodestone should hold just enough of a charge to give the moss wolves the motivation they need to return to their corals. It won't hurt them.
Trust in the edicts.
The moss wolves look like they have a bit more pep. Hopefully they'll start producing again, if the storm ever comes back, that is. Rancher Stenspore believes he knows why the storm is missing. He claims 2 legendary ram brothers re-energize the storm once a year. Just not this year, for some reason.
Conversation terminated.
Listen well, stranger. Once a year, the great ram Durzin, Lord of the Southern Storm, crosses the isle to meet his brother, Belst, on the Thunder Peak. The clash of their horns heralds the storm and brings prosperity for another year. I love that the Earthen are so... Like, most of the time, storms are considered bad things in most cultures, for obvious reasons. But here they venerate the storm because of obvious reasons and the fact that they're made of earth. Like, there's no fear of the storm here. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, we just had an expansion where Storm was a thing to be feared by the Centaurs.
May your choices return you here.
So it works and doesn't feel like a cheap cameo. Let me think on that.
Tell me what drives you. Welcome, Outlander. Journey far and safe.
Yeah, the lightning they're just walking around with would probably be legitimately, like, life-threatening to just a regular old person. So yeah, not only are they relatively immune to the storm, they've cultivated it. Like, really think about that for a second.
Communication in... Oh, sorry. Hello?
Oh my god, it's the Nerubians! Da-da-da-da. Something I commented on when I was doing this exact quest the last time I did it was how I like how much of a background threat the Nerubians are. This is what the Primalists should have been. I know, we talked about it. The Primalists weren't as bad as I remembered, and they weren't. But this is where, this is what the Primalists should have been. A recurring background threat, which isn't really a big deal, but they're causing enough mischief to be a local problem. They're also not the only threat we're facing. Yeah, by the way, Dream of Electric Sheep joke, we're walking. Actually, I have played both of them, Yura. Not in a long time, though. True, Uthor. The Nerubians go somewhere. The Primalists honestly never did. The closest we had to a Primalist story arc was quite literally at the end of the expansion. Good arc, I'll admit it. That is one big ram. Yep. You found him. Why hasn't he gone to the mountain? Why does he look so forlorn?
May all paths.
You say the Nerubians had him. Not sure what they wanted with old Durzin, but he looks weakened by the ordeal. We can't have that if he's to challenge his brother. The moss harvested from our flocks give the storm rooks a kick, so Durzin might benefit from it as well. Kill like a bushel's worth, make an offering. And if they get ornery, put them in their place.
Our lives are our own.
I've studied accounts and stories of the first Stormrooks. Some say they were pulled into our world by great clashes of lightning. How'd it go again? Brothers brawl to us under the skies. Jagged scar that screams and sings, comes soaring storms on crackling wings. I wish Balgrim could be here for this. Who were you, Lucella, again? Like, your name sounds familiar, but I wouldn't worry about it. Yeah, that's another thing. Even as a threat, the Nerubians kind of come and go in terms of how much of a problem they are. But that's good. Not only does it help vary them, but frankly, it makes sense. They kind of blew their load on their very first attack, which, if you remember, we pushed back. You remember that? Like, yeah, we did lose Dalaran. I'm not trying to dismiss that, but we survived and pushed them out of Dalaran. And then they attacked Dornagal, which we survived and pushed them out of. That was a major strike, which they lost. Exactly, Huthor. That was a big push. We pushed back, and now we're dealing with, well, not bandits, but, like, I mean, honestly, kind of the equivalent, you know? These Nerubians are causing problems, but in a very small-scale, local kind of a way. And yes, the Nerubians were being used by the Void for its own purposes. I feel like I've heard that before. And yeah, the important thing, a lot of people seem to think that when I want smaller scale threats, They mean I want, like, pathetic-y threats. No, no, no. You can go smaller scale without having it be pathetic. There's a reason I keep using that word regional. Put yourself, for a moment, in perspective of something that would threaten the entire city you live in. Or maybe a province, depending on where you live, right? That's a pretty big deal to you and most people you probably know. Right? Like, that is a big deal for you and for them. It's just not the end of the entire world, right? Yeah, the Blackwolds over in Bree were a regional threat. They were pathetic on the overall perspective of the entire world, but they still mattered for everybody who's actually in the Bree lands, and they were causing a lot of issues in the Bree lands. That's another thing. There's that continuity thing again. It makes sense that the Nerubians are now the ones on the back foot. They just lost an entire army. And, as Huthor so accurately pointed out, Xalatath is no longer using them, directly guiding them. Actually, yeah, Billions of Snow. Anyways, I can't think of one Verlictum. Usually when I see a cameo like that, it's either, huh? And it just throws me out of it, or it's really obvious that it's there for the purposes of the cameo. I'm not sure I can think of one off the top of my head where it didn't, just kind of make me know. I'm sure there is one somewhere. I'm not coming up with one.
Our forged paths intertwine.
That seemed to do the trick. I think he's ready to return to his brother.
Returning to task.
Like, this quest chain we're doing right now is a perfect time to talk about this. What is actually going on here? So these people need these Mosswool guys. And if too many of them die... So hang on, they need the resources from the Mosswools. And if too many of these guys die, then they're not going to be able to reproduce them. Okay, so that's two separate problems which are being caused because this guy was captured by the Nerubians. That's it. The Nerubians captured a giant ram in order to screw with the local storms. But that is still significant, right? That is still something that matters here. The livelihood of this entire little town and the area it supplies, Dornagal, right over there, is going to be affected if this particular supply point is crashed. It's knocked over. And it was all caused by the Nerubians just capturing one ram. That makes sense. That lines up. That's interesting, that's engaging, that has stakes without having much in the way of scale. Love it. Plus the story. Yeah, very true, Huthor.
The Titans drive my directive.
Druzen looks hale and hearty again. That moss pack's a real punch. I have a sense he's ready to go. I just wish we had more time. So many questions, but the greatest of those questions will be answered when he reaches the peak. We shouldn't trust him up there alone, but I think he trusts you to take him.
Trust in the edicts.
Wait for me. That is a large ram. I am on a dragon. Really? Really? Okay. Come here. Come here and die. Everything. You're literally everything. I do not say that facetiously or as a joke. I think Dragonflight, excuse me, I think War Within is a classic example of expansion effect on Dragonflight. It is everything Dragonflight did well, but better. That's true. Less Raytheon, negative to story. Nobody likes Earthen anyways. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to give 15 more positives to Earthen. Let's see. Positive number 1 reminds me of Gutsman. Positive number 2 reminds me of Bombman. Positive number 3 doesn't remind me of Quickman. What do you mean, Uthor? I wouldn't say it's weird. The last thing we saw of Tyr is he flat out stated that he doesn't want to get involved with anything until he understands the new state of the world. And remember, this is happening like a month after the end of Dragonflight, when he said that. So, I actually think it makes a lot of sense that we're probably not going to see Tyr for a while. Frankly, I'd be shocked if we see Tyr before Last Titan, or maybe the lead-up to Last Titan. Not just because of the obvious thematic parallels, but because he needs time to figure out what the hell is going on. He's missed out on essentially all of Azerothian history, if you think about it. Like, the original Tyr died so long ago that the humans didn't exist yet. It worked. You did it.
Nothing like the wind in your crags.
Legends were true. The storms, the rook, the rams, they're all connected. Yeah, that domino thing. I have so much more to learn, but thank you for setting me on this
Turning
path.
to task.
What's next for you, Storm Rider? Not a Storm Rider, but a rook tender. But I'd stay on for a bit if I could. I can feel some kind of connection here. To the storm. Perhaps, if the storms are where the rooks first came from, then I need to know more. I'll have to pay attention to that, Uthor. That's a good question, Lord Hermont. Are you having fun with it? Because if you are, then, man, go for it, you know? Have fun. Take care. Slow down, Lord Hermont. And you know another thing I've noticed about Crypt Lords? They're not overusing Crypt Lords. I know that sounds like a strange way to phrase that, but you know what I mean. Like, WoW has a really bad habit of taking what should be an elite unit and just having you fight it everywhere. But we have fought so far... three Crypt Lords in the whole zone. We've been fighting Nerubians pretty consistently. And one of those we haven't actually killed yet. It's the one it's the MSQ one, Kirix or whatever her name is, or his name is, excuse me. There's the one we just fought at the end of this chain, at the end of the Rambleshar chain. There's the one we fought in at the end of the assault on Dalaran, and then there's Kirix or Birix or whatever stupid name is, which we've fought several times now. Xerix, there it is, Xerix. I was close. That's it. 3. Nah, he's a queen in his own mind, Luminarith. Exactly, Pillars of Snow. Or frankly, like Vanilla, which had Dreadlords behind every corner. Or like Shadowlands, which had Dreadlords behind every corner. Or like Shadowlands, which had Liches behind every corner. Or like Shadowlands... I'm done.
I follow the Council's directives.
With all these Cinderbrew kegs here, this meteor would burn hotter than the Forge grounds if they were all ignited. I surmise... Yeah, Mook Liches. Oh god, yeah, Forgotten Realms is actually pretty bad about that. I remember when I fought a dragon Balor demon thing, and I'm just like... I surmise that's why Wenbrand's kegs are made out of stout and strong ironwood. They do not catch fire or break easily. Luckily, we can start a reaction from the inside. If we lead fuses into each of them. Okay, I can do that.
We are the bedrock. We are the foundation.
Well, I agree with you, Xavier. There is a well usage of bosses become mooks. A lot of single-player RPGs do that. It also saves on development time, if we're being honest. A lot of RPGs literally just copy-paste a boss and plunk it down as a trash at a certain point in time. WoW itself has actually done that once, if you remember. All the way over here in Warlords. The trash for the Archimon fight, it doesn't actually show up, but the trash for the Archimon fight were each raid bosses. And that actually worked. That was a really good showcasing of exactly how far we'd come and what we were about to deal with. Anyways.
Speak freely.
Look, you can blow up my life's work if it's our only choice, but I will not put my workers in danger. This is the path we all chose, but I won't have them sacrifice themselves to fire or Nerubians for it. Tell them I said they need to get out immediately, and if a single one of them gets so much as chipped, the Council will have a lot to answer for.
Follow. Are you sure this will work, Baelgrim?
It will. It has to.
Then let's get started.
Get out of here. I know, right, Uthor? Yeah, by the way, War Within is going to be weirdly pro-worker several times. I'm not saying that's related at all to the fact that Blizzard is one of the very first game developers to ever have a wall-to-wall union in the world. Ever. But it might be related. I like some of these responses. I'll tell the workers to keep out in the forest to keep away. Or, well, that's exciting and terrifying. Look, I read the short story about Gazlo and Noggenfogger, and I liked it. The main theme of that story boils down to, you know, you could still be profitable without being a dick. Like, I know that's a really strange way to phrase that sentence, but that's really what it boiled down to. Probably one of those following old patterns things, Logue. After all, there wasn't the head of the Mitri on the council, so why should there be now? Artifact design, basically. I mean, I can't be the only one who has noticed that the Earthen have been extremely stagnant until pretty much the moment we show up. The issues they're dealing with on the Isle of Dorn, the issues we're going to be dealing with in the second zone, these aren't new issues. These have been issues for a long time.
We protect the people of the Isle.
Xerix will fall by my hand. It is my directive. It is my will.
Conversation terminated.
I'm glad to hear they had such a sense to clear out with much fuss.
Returning to task.
The meteor is evacuated, the explosives primed. It's time to bait the Nerubians into our trap. Your compatriot is by the Nerubian Barrow north of here. She told me her directive is to keep an eye over it in case the Nerubians make a move before we are ready. So far they have not made a move and may now need coaxing. Take a keg of Cinderbrew, toss it in.
Set off the keg and hurry back to the mead yard. Then we will finish our preparations.
Actually, yeah, Lord Garamond. Well, not necessarily, Lord. You'd be as surprised how long people will just kind of sit there while the ship slowly sinks into oblivion. Yeah, isolationism bad. Yeah, that theme goes back to Warcraft 3. Illyria?
Over here, champion. Let's burn some Nerubians to cinders.
Can I just say, by the way, Blizzard has literally always had great voice editing, modulation, and effects, post-processing on the voices. That goes all the way back to arguably Warcraft 2, but I was going to say StarCraft. But, like, the really, really subtle modulation on Illyria's voice is a great touch. It shows that she isn't fully elven. There is something affecting her in the void, but it's subtle enough that I think most people will just skip over it, which makes sense because she's not void drunk, right? Bling.
Return to the meadery. I'll lead them into the trap.
You got it. But no, I think at least part of it is because we showed up, and then things started happening very, very quickly. Not just because of us, but because of Xalatath, too. Remember, she poked right as we showed up. She's void tipsy.
It is my oath-sworn duty to protect the Coreway.
I mean, honestly, Illyria in many ways is an NPC that does what we did back in Legion. A Shadow Priest that doesn't go every few seconds. The Nerubians will strike out in anger and pride, which is exactly what we want. They will swarm the Meadery soon, seeking to punish us for attacking their burrow. We will hold them here on the ground while you take to the skies. When Xerix appears to command his army, we will light the fuses. Windbranch scrounge together some supplies we can use to corral the Nerubians. Set them up quickly and we will get you on a Stormbrook. Go.
Fly.
The Nerubians will soon start swarming from the north.
So we've got Sticky Honey, Cinder Brew, and Explosive Pollen.
Them down, and the mead and pollen will help us tear through them.
So, we get 6 traps to place. This is a fascinating quest, by the way. We can place 6 traps wherever we want to, and whichever we want to. Yeah, it is effectively a tower defense, but it's weirdly well designed for how simple it is. Which I suppose is kind of the point. This is just a little for fun thing, but also kind of serves as a nice capstone. If it's not obvious, this is effectively the end of the MSQ in this zone.
We are out of time. Come, let us get you on a Stormrook. Do you require aid?
Prepare yourselves. They are coming.
And notice we just hover up here. So we've got a Storm Axe, Pulse, and a
Thin out
Flang.
the swarm and stop them from getting past us.
And from wrecking my meadery before we do.
Baelgrim, they're chewing through the fuses.
We still have 2 fuses left. Keep fighting. Keep drawing them in.
Stubborn earth, you will not impede my ascension.
What is this ascension he keeps talking about?
Outlander, leave this to me.
fuses! We can't ignite the kegs!
I must fulfill my edict.
What? Forget the edicts!
I cannot. That is why it must be me. You must guide the Earthen.
Pilgrim!
One last ride, then you're free. Syrinx! My directive is to protect this isle, and the Earthen. All the Earthen. Glory to the Titans! Long live the Earthen!
Baelgrum. Oh, twisting paths.
He's gone. We did it, but he's gone.
Only like 15 or so here. There's a bunch. A lot of dragons back in Dragonflight. A couple elves, you know, there's a bunch. That's a good point. Negative to story for an awesome scene. No, Lo, come on, why?
Yes.
Syrinx is dead. We did it. It is over. Baelgrum did it. She repeats the last phrase over and over, more quietly each time, as if unable to process the event.
Follow what drives you.
I mean, he could have let other Nerubians die. He could have let the meadery be destroyed. You know. He could have just backed off. Yeah, that's cool. We dealt a heavy blow to the Nerubians, but Baelgrum... Yeah, the other thing, you have to understand, Baelgrum wasn't fully sentient sapient. I know that sounds strange to phrase it that way, but he was in the middle of droid effect, not at the end of it. So he still had to fulfill his edict. He said it himself. I cannot ignore my edict. So he didn't. He was just sentient enough to be able to think a way through his programming rather than around it, which is what he did. That's another thing. He could have thrown the hammer on the ground and hoped, but by actually doing it himself, he guaranteed with essentially, you know, total certainty that it was going to work, which it did. And yeah, I agree with Huthor. Thematically speaking, this is on point. Edicts are not necessarily bad. They are limiting. They're binding. But that doesn't mean they are always a negative thing. He was infuriatingly rigid, and we argued ceaselessly. But in the end, he was the defender of our people. All of them. Baelgrum sacrificed himself to vouchsafe the Isle of Dorn from the Nerubians. Oh yeah, by the way, we keep talking about how the Nerubians are on the back foot. That's it. Like, that was pretty much the last chunk of the main Nerubian force that had left their main city nearby. So yeah. Everyone needs to know that, and we can't let the Nerubian force our hand like this again. Go back to Merrick's. Tell him we will come soon. I just need a moment here.
The Coreway's repairs must continue. It's what Baelgrum would have wanted. The Unbound...
Stay a while and listen.
Baelgrum and I were rivals. We both became wards at the same time. Each of us weighed our accomplishments and accolades against the others. Whom had the Titans favored more? But we were like two rams in a yoke, pulling together. Him with his storm rooks, me with my quarry and forge. Dornagal needed us both in equal measure. But it all started to fall apart. The core way, the archive. There began a time of despair as we pieced everything together. I saw what it was doing to our people, and so did Baelgrim. My logic led me away from the Titans. His said we needed them more than ever. I thought he would never forgive me for leaving him alone, yoked to Dornagal. But in the end, if the both of us weren't so thick-headed, I can't help but think we could have avoided his fate. Dornagal has lost its protector, and I've lost a friend.
I'm not saying you're wrong. All I'm saying is I don't fully agree. I do get your point, but if I'm being honest, speaking as a writer, I would have also had him die here. Because it makes too much sense in universe, again, for someone who is structured under Titan think. It makes too much sense out of universe. It is a literal fulfillment of his character arc. This man failed in the only thing that he upheld because he was too rigid in how he interpreted that order, that programming. He finished his life interpreting that programming, if I might be so bold, properly, and thus using his final action to safeguard a huge number of lives. And if we're being blunt, this action right here, for those of you who know, really think about the overall arc of War Within. This devastating loss is probably the beginning of a fairly lengthy chain of dominoes, which is definitely going to help out the Earthen long term. And it was also, like, I love the structure of this. This is our big win at the end of the zone, right? But it's portrayed as a loss. And I love that dichotomy. If I could use a parallel, forgive me, because I probably shouldn't even try. Ding! Exploding. Because I know we're coming at this from different angles, Luke, which is cool. I like different perspectives. But I think part of the reason this works, too, is because if we got involved to save his life, it would have cheapened it. Let me use a parallel. I don't want to spoil too much, but Dawn Trail, right? In Dawn Trail, the primary overall story arc centers around us being a mentor for someone who is new to adventuring, new to this whole hero shtick. And so we take a back foot to them constantly. We allow them to make their own choices, make their own mistakes, and nearly die. If at any point in time we decide to step in and be like, hang on, this is too dangerous, you might die here, it would cheapen that. I think it's a similar thing here, because you're right, we just walked in and be like, hi, Xerix, whap, and just killed the dude. But at that point, he'd been like, oh, okay. Like, his character arc is gone at that point. And it never actually properly fulfills. Both in-universe and out, we literally cheapened his story. And more to the point, we took the choice away from him. That's another thing. Xerix has proven he'll run if we'll start this. That's actually a valid point, Gerwin. I hadn't thought about that. This blessed hammer. Okay. Let's do that. Let's do that. I do get your overall point, Loke. And for whatever it's worth, I do kind of agree with you. Part of the problem, I think, is that War Within is kind of in an in-between space on whether or not we exist or not. Because in that scene we just saw, for all intents and purposes, we don't, right? You know what would have probably worked better? Very, very small amount of restructuring. Check this out. So we're there, we lay out the defenses, we hold the line until things go. And then we start to fall behind, and we are called back to like, safeguard, you know, the flank. Maybe the Nerubians come swooping in from the other side. Maybe some of the workers are getting hit by some of the strays. Something, right? We're pulled back, and then the rest of the scene plays out effectively unchained. Unchanged. Sorry, I was looking at a chain when I said that. Right here. I'm not joking. I was looking at the chain. And so the rest of the cutscene is effectively unchanged at that point. He's like, we got to deal with this. Same character motive. Same edicts are not necessarily bad. Same barely able to think outside of it. Same need to have the 100% success degree. He just goes in, smashes down, dies, kills, saves the workers, saves everything. Cool. We get back, and we're good, right? We, group, made that work. I don't think that's negative worthy. If anything, I think that would actually make that scene even better. But that's just me. That would have been really cool. And it's not like War Within can't do scenes of that complexity.
Alone, Outlander. I presume not all went well. You address the Council Ward of Dornagol.
We heard the echo of the explosion from here. I presume you found victory, but your solitary arrival suggests all is not well. What happened?
I have work to do. Tell me what has happened.
Council Ward, we
have bad news. Greetings, Outlander. We have repelled the Nerubians, but Baelgrim is gone.
I see. So he fulfilled his edict.
Not just that. He defended the Earthen, both the Oathsworn and the Unbound. More than anything, he wanted us to stand together again.
Then we will honor his memory by doing so. It will take time to fully repair the Coreway, but the Outlanders can descend to the Ringing Deeps. The Earthen of the Isle of Dorn will support their endeavor, no matter what the edicts say. If we can bring the machine speakers back into the fold as well, then the Council will truly stand complete.
Thank you, Council Ward. Now, let's clear the last of that rubble.
No, on that I agree completely, Look. That's why it is merely one story positive. Because you're right, that could have been a double or a triple.
What have you learned?
Do not be lulled into a false sense of victory. Xalatath yet lives. So long as she schemes in the shadows, the safety we've secured is fleeting, as it was in Dalaran. While Anduin and the Earthen tend to the wounded, I will protect the way I know best, by slaughtering all who threaten us. Pay attention to that. That is surprisingly well written. Because what do you see right there? In her own words, she admits to her own doubt. And then the current method she's using to flatten down that doubt is her anger.
I do not miss.
But the thing is, and I'm just going to give this away right now, anger is a band-aid. That's not a solution. She's going to have to figure something else out before too long.
Do you have an
montage? Why are you at urgent care, Ross? And more importantly, are you okay? Anger works in the moment. It does. You'll notice it is working. But it is a short-term solution.
The edicts must be...
Also, I want to show this off real quick. I have yet to get any of these. I do want to get at least one at some point. I love these things. It's the same basic mech we've seen for some time, the same rigging, since, like, Pandaria, at least. But I love that particular take on it. It is so bulky and boxy, and I love it. It reminds me of mechs from MechWarrior, and exactly why I like those kind of mechs. They are walking tanks. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Now, I'm going to admit, in the interest of honesty, that there's actually another reason I like this exact mech. Hang on. I'm going to show you something really stupid and you're going to make fun of me for it, and that's okay. I can accept that. Oh, I forgot to show you that, Huthor. I have a gift for you, Huthor. But first, I want to show you this thing. Now, some of you will look at this and immediately know what this is. I cannot be the only one who sees the similarity there, though. Obviously, this thing is a lot better designed and higher profile and blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, look at that thing. Yeah, it's actually more like X8, the more modern ones. But still, it's the right armor. It's the right armor. But, Huthor, I got a gift for you. I didn't make this. So you remember you mentioning that the one change you would make to Warcraft is adding the nose? Anyways. Moving on.
I bid you welcome.
May we all learn from Belgrim's valor. He died to preserve our people, our unity. We must not let that be in vain.
Go where the edicts lead.
Outlander, I will accompany you to the Ringing Deeps. It is my home, and it too may need defending.
Downward it is, then. We best follow after Speaker Brinth, see what state the Nerubians have left their home in. Magni, Dagrin, and I will accompany you. Do you mind roving ahead? Make sure there's a warm welcome.
Mind yourself, champion.
You
We need you.
got it. But first, I'm gonna glance at something. That's the usual, that's usual, that's usual, that's usual. No, that's changed. That's the same, that's there, and that's that. Okay, so. Some sawals, really quick.
I am on the hunt.
Valyria, I heard you helped corner Xerix at the meadery. Thank you.
The Nerubians took so much from us. I will not let them do the same to the Earthen.
They've been good allies. And gracious hosts.
A welcome surprise, given that they've been living in isolation for thousands of years.
That may not entirely be the case. I asked about why they keep calling me Arathi. And apparently, an Arathi armada arrived on Kazalgar a number of years ago. They're said to have formed a settlement in the caverns beneath the island. It sounds impossible. But if it's true, I want to see it for myself. They could prove to be allies in our fight against Xalatath.
No. We've secured a measure of safety here. Don't abandon it to chase shadows in the dark.
Isn't that what you're doing?
I'm doing what I must. Hunting down every last Nerubian, following their trail back to Xalatath, and claiming vengeance for our dead.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to...
Remain in Dornagal, Anduin. Leave the shadows to me.
Ouch. Do you notice how Anduin just tried to basically do a lighthearted jest, and she threw it right back in his face, and then when he apologized, she just clamped down on that? Yeah, she's not handling this well. Anduin, ironically, is probably taking this a little bit better than he otherwise could be. He needed a lot of this, I think. Also, I love the new look of his sword, the unpowered sword.
Well, I'm listening. Dagrin, are you ready to go down? You don't have to. You can stay at the archive if you like.
No, Ma. I've learned so much here. The world seems so new. And old at the same time.
Good. I didn't want you to be in danger, but I'm glad to see adventuring suits you. You have always had a knack for history and culture. I already think of you as an advisor.
Really? Sometimes you will ask me questions, and if I'm excited about what you ask me, I can talk for hours.
Hours? I'd listen to you for days. I may not be impartial since you are my son, but you have a fine mind. You are the future of our people, and you have a lot to offer this world. Don't let anyone tell you different. There's nobody else I'd rather crash a city, meet new peoples, and jump down a dark hole with.
Thank you, Ma. I don't know what to say other than... I'm excited to see what we discover. Together.
Okay. I think it was the light as well. Pretty sure. Correct. He is fully in the realm of doubt right now. But because he's Anduin, he hasn't given into the void. It's actually an interesting state of being. It's part of what makes Anduin so interesting this particular expansion. By all accounts, he is primed to fall to the void, but he doesn't. And of course he doesn't. Not only does he have a lot of backing in history and research with the void and understanding why he shouldn't, and he's got a pretty strong will to begin with, but, most importantly of all, sorry for the cliche, he is not alone. He has a lot of people who are helping support and back him right now. By the way, notice that Illyria is doing everything in her power to stay alone right now. Exactly, Luke. I agree with you about the Sylvanas thing, by the way. Honestly, all three sisters have that issue to some extent or another. It's a summary, Lord Aramont. Because of all the things he's been... I'm not going to sit here and summarize his whole life. Come on, man. Yeah, no. He's just there. There's a reason he is using no magic at all. He's just swinging a sword and wearing some armor. He's a war... It's like in D&D. Congratulations, you just lost all your paladin levels. You're a warrior without... Or, excuse me, you're a fighter without the extra feats.
Conversation initiated.
Harmod sent you to check on me. Well, I didn't know that sack of charcoal cared. He does have an innate sense of when the elementals are in turmoil. Maybe he knew something was brewing out here. His timing is good, and your aid would be most welcome.
Fly high, strike true.
You see that flock in the distance? Wild cloud rooks. They've lived on these islands peacefully for ages, but recent events have stirred other elementals from Earth and Sea. One of the Cloud Rooks was attacked, and it was disincorporated. Now the flock circles endlessly. Surely they will tire soon, if they get too tired. Perhaps if we declare the hostile elementals, they will return and take their rest.
May the path you forge
Enjoy your sleep, you know. Or else. Could be, Lunaruth. Another thing, though, is you'll notice Zalatath knows what she's doing. Let me try to say that more clearly. She's ensuring that her enemies don't know what she's doing and are staying on the back foot. If you're just sitting there defending, like, a defensive war is a lost war, right? I know that's not universally true, but you understand the concept behind the premise. If you just sit there and defend, you will defend to death. And that's what Zalatath is trying to push everyone else into. Constantly just sitting there reacting to whatever she's doing. I don't even think this is like too much of a spoiler, because you can already see her general tactics, and she will continue to employ this across the expansion so far. Poke here, poke there, make sure you're dealing with this. Make sure this thing is aimed at you in this direction, yada yada yada. That's also very Void. Remember, as I've said many times, Void by itself isn't actually all that strong. Not really. Void plays at its best when it's subverting other things. Zalatath, by all accounts, knows that if she ever fights us one-on-one, she's dead. So she's doing everything in her power to make sure that that encounter never happens. I'm very proud of you, Lord Hermon. Especially since I already corrected myself in the middle of my sentence. Oh yeah, she hasn't said anything about what she's actually up to. She just hit Dalaran with a bunch of Nerubians, absorbed a whole bunch of energy from it into the Dark Heart, and then used some of that to destroy Dalaran. Why, though? But of course, most people are too busy both dealing with it and reacting to it to actually sit down and process the why. The reason I bring all this up with regards to Illyria is she's playing right into her hands. Remember, Illyria's Void, too. She needs to be thinking outside the box. Frankly, right now, Illyria's thinking like a ranger. In fact, actually, and I think this is on purpose, Illyria is thinking like a paladin. A retribution paladin, specifically. Swap her out with Turellian for just a second. What do you think he'd be doing here?
State your business.
Many thanks for your help, though the Cloudrooks do not seem any more inclined to return to land. There's some kind of mourning. I worry it could drive the Rooks to exhaustion and their own disincorporation. We must try something else.
Honor the Titans, but don't wait up for them.
The Cloudrooks cannot possibly circle forever, and I cannot bear more of them being lost. If they roost if we tempted them with their favorite food. Which is eels! I'm so sad Asmiristar isn't here. She's off at some concert. I hope she's having fun. But if you're seeing this in the VOD, we must get eels. The eels that swim in the water carry a small electrical charge, not unlike moss wool. I once reasoned that Cloudrooks might enjoy the eels for similar reasons. I must confess, I've been feeding them eels ever since.
May the path you forge be your own.
On Kata, I assume, Lord Harriman? That could be Lunareth. And you're right. Like, it's like I was saying earlier. She's focusing on the now and her anger to blanket her doubt so she doesn't give in. A fairly major theme of this expansion is accepting who you are. I think, personally, that Illyria's arc and Anduin's arc are essentially the same one for completely different reasons. Ugh, frickin' crabs. Oh my god, freaking crabs. On retail. I honestly didn't know you played retail, Lord Irma. Forgive my ignorance. And that's why a defensive war is a terrible idea. Any questions? No, he's still resisting. Damn. I have to try harder. So favorite class is Paladin. I admit Paladin's in a very good place right now. I mean, I enjoy all three specs. Protoden is really doing some good stuff. Holy Paladin is actually pretty solid. I kind of have shown that off on camera only like a couple of times. And Redditon... I know this sounds strange. I think Redditon is the weakest of the three right now, which is impressive given how damn good it is. I will say I personally think Death Knight is kind of in a better place, but in such a small distinction that it might as well not even be. Because I think Protoden is better than Blood, but I think that the combination of Frost and Unholy is better than Ret and Holy. I actually like Arcane quite a bit, but I agree, it is kind of its own thing. Frost and Fire are both fairly... I want to say vanilla, but that sounds like an insult, and I don't mean it as one. Not arcane. That's what we'll call those. I mean, yeah, exactly. It's funny because vanilla has kind of become a bad word for me personally. Not only because people tend to use it to mean plain, which is not what vanilla is, but also because, you know, a lot of vanilla games kind of suck.
What do you want?
The eel may not pack quite the punch of the moss wool, but the Cloudrooks seem to prefer it that way.
Honor the Titans, but don't wait up for them.
Eh. These should do. Hope you didn't get any nasty shocks gathering them up. We can store some energy to the Cloudrooks and show them it's safe to land.
Fly high, strike true.
Now that we have the eels, we can try to lure them back to land. Head over to the neighboring island. Get as close as you can. Make an offering.
May the path you forge be your own.
Yeah, plain yogurt. That's not vanilla. Plain, truly plain yogurt. Yeah. I like that. That's a good way to put that, Lord Harriman. Frost and Fire specs are different flavors of ice cream, and Arcane is pudding. They're all good. No, Greek yogurt has a unique sourness to it. I actually like plain Greek yogurt. Whee. Yeah, there's a reason why whenever you put vanilla extract into a recipe, it calls for like a single teaspoon of it. Or even less. No. Okay. Stop jotting down some thoughts there, don't mind me.
State your business.
Now I understand. This is how the Rooks bring their own over from the elemental plane. They weren't mourning, they were calling out to their departed kin. Thank you for your help. You've helped me understand these beautiful creatures.
Honor the Titans.
I can't favor certain, but I think that's the same Rook that was lost to the elements. All this time, I thought they were looking out for them. They were looking out for each other. Oh, that's an interesting question, Uthor. Based on what I have briefly seen, I have actually gone out of my way not to watch all the cutscenes yet. My first pick would obviously be Arcades. Past that, I'd have to think about it. Yeah, too much vanilla will very quickly overwhelm any other flavor. Yeah.
The answers are here.
Why do you have a mushroom? Yeah, I don't even care.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Okay, so that's like skip ahead. Got it. Let's skip that. Well, it sounds like it's almost dinner time, so I suppose this does that have a sheen on it? It does. Oh my god. So this seems like a good time to pause. I can't decide how I want to do the delves exactly. Because we could do them as we go, or we could go back and do them. And I'm very much torn on which of those is the better option.
I have many, many wares.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was thinking too, Huthor. Plus, then we'll get to show off them when they're not just, you know,
May your feet find
face
good
rolls.
trails.
Well, I might actually run into difficulty walls. And we could have other people join in too if they want to. And not become face rolls. Believe it or not, the goal is to avoid face rolling. Ignoring the obvious boredom problem, the fact is face rolling means no pluses. Yeah, I think I will go ahead and agree with that. So that means we're going to go ahead and zoom down here. And tomorrow, hopefully on time, and with no interruptions, we'll go ahead and start the second zone. I'll see you guys.